Welcome back my fellow Hoi4 players, and as promised, today we shall explore the new DLC No Step Back, and today we shall be playing as all the Baltic nations and getting their respective achievements. So, let's get started with Estonia. Estonia has the achievement Esti is Scandi, where you have to control all of the Scandinavian provinces, meaning all of Sweden, Norway and Denmark. Since this is vanilla, we were going to go fascist, since this is the easier way to do it. And since, the actual focus really is you to form either the Nordic Union or the new nation Finno-Ugric, more that later. Estonia reuses the mechanic that Britain has to become fascist, where we select certain states to hold marches around the country and we need at least 40% popularity for the fascists to progress down the focus tree. After a few marches we were able to coup the government and we have now the fascists in charge, yay! The next priority was to spread fascism to Finland and to finally decide if we want to form the Nordic Union or form the new nation Finno-Ugric. But before that we might as well unite the whole Baltics, as we will need the extra manpower and factories to actually get this done. So to war by Jingo we go. Also, just like we had marches to turn us fascists, we will unlock the same decisions, but now for Finland. Latvia may not seem that strong, but compared to Lithuania and Estonia at the start, from what I'm seeing, they are actually the strongest one of the three nations. They have the better divisions and the better terrain overall for defensive positions. So the war was not the greatest. I even got encircled, and that's something I have noticed overall with the AI. The AI will now actually react to you trying to encircle them, so no more big pockets, or at least no more big pockets with relative ease. But eventually I managed to push all the way down to Riga and managed to cut their country in two. The only thing that was that since I declared war on Lithuania as well, the Lithuanian troops attacked me as soon as I reached their border. But either way, I managed to destroy the eastern pocket and took Riga afterwards. After taking the last remaining victory points in Latvia, they surrendered. As for Lithuania, it actually went better and quicker than expected, as I just rushed for the capital and just snaked my way around to their victory points since they barely had any troops, and bam, they surrendered. With that, I formed the United Baltic Nation, and now I actually could focus on turning Finland fascist. I promoted some of the marches, and then they revolted or something like that, and had a civil war, so I joined the fascist side. In it and quickly won the war for the fascists, and now this is where the decision comes into play. You can either pursue a Finland union with Finland with the ultimate goal to get the new nation Finno-Ugric, or you can make a faction with Finland and later form the Nordic Union if you take over all of the Nordic nations. I went with the latter as I thought I needed to do the focus to form the Nordic Union to get the achievement, but you don't need to, so if anyone wants to do this achievement, I actually recommend integrating Finland. After a few months, I disbanded my faction and joined the Axis as World War II was about to start off. Poland rejected the ultimatum and I joined the war. To get the necessary war score so that Germany gives me control of the Nordic states that I need for the achievement, I supported Germany during the invasion of Poland, Benelux, and even France. Must have been weird to have been a French soldier seeing a bunch of Estonians capturing Paris, but oh well. To show my commitment to the war, I even went to Africa and did more than the Italians did, but as I was getting trapped in Egypt, Germany started their invasion of Denmark and Norway. So I joined the invasion, of course, and asked Mr. Schmittler if I could get Denmark, and he actually gave me Denmark. You know, what a guy, like, what a nice guy that he actually gave me Denmark. Now I had to get Norway and get Sweden, so for that I actually planned a naval invasion of Norway, but surprise surprise, the Estonians don't know what about this, so I had to research the basic naval invasion tech, but before I could even finish that, Germany actually launched their own naval invasion, so I just crossed over to Norway and again helped Germany to get the job done, even though they probably did not even need the help, but oh well. Norway capitulated, and once again I asked Mr. Schmittler for the land, and you know, being such a great guy that he is, he actually gave it to me. So the last one to go was Sweden. I got the war goal through a focus and invaded myself. I took over the southern part relatively quickly and secured Stockholm, and soon Sweden capitulated. And that should have been the end, you know, because, well, I had everything. If it wasn't because of Gotland, but by that point I had actually researched the basic naval invasion tech, so I just landed in the southern tip of the island, and bam, the first achievement was unlocked. So it was time to move on to the next nation. The next nation we will be playing as is Latvia, and we will be doing the achievement of this. This achievement is cheesy, actually. That's the name, which requires us to control the state of Lapland in Sweden. So just basically we have to repeat the same thing we did with Estonia. Form Ostland? Wait, what the actual f***? Why can Latvia form not an even formal nation, but instead a regional administration by the Nazis with the goal of attracting German settlers in the land and basically removing and exterminating the population that was living there? Like, what the f... That doesn't make any sense. But, you know, since this is Hoi4 and with the new DLC you can get a bear to be the king of Poland, anything's possible, really. So, since the achievement actually requires me to do it, who cares, I just want my shitty PNG. So after starting the fascist path of Latvia for Latvians, even though we're about to form a regional administration who wants Belarus and the Baltics for the Germans, oh my god, the irony, ironic, isn't it? The fascists actually got to coup the government, and I asked Germany to join the Axis, and nothing can go wrong, right? I mean, we will be fascist soon, so... Wait, what do you mean Germany rejected us? And that we can't even join the Axis as they get a modifier to avoid letting us join. Germany! So after restarting the whole thing, Germany actually accepted me into the Axis, and then I demanded the annexation of Estonia and Lithuania. Estonia actually accepted, and only Lithuania rejected, so I just invaded and annexed them pretty quickly and pretty easily. I once again formed the United Baltic State, but when I took the focus to turn into Ostland, I reverted to the original flag that Latvia, well, fascist Latvia had, which actually looks cooler, and I actually got a darker color compared to the one that Latvia starts with, which actually also looks pretty nice, I gotta say. I also got some cores on Belarus, well, on the lands of Belarus that Poland has, but not the rest of Belarus, nor on some of the Russian lands, which actually weirded me out at first. Although that might be from me from playing a lot of TWR, seeing their Reich Commissariat Ostland having land in Russia and Belarus. Now I only had to get Lapland to get the achievement, so I just repeated what I did as Estonia. I joined the war, helped out in Poland, the Benelux, and France, and declared war on Sweden. Strangely enough, the Soviets actually attacked me, but that meant that they would have to fight the whole Axis in 1941, so... actually 1940, sorry. So, good luck with that, Russia. I continued to focus on Sweden, and they would capitulate soon after, and all I had to do was ask Germany for Lapland, and there it was, the second achievement was done. 2 down, 2 to go, so for the last 2 achievements, it's time to go to Lithuania. Compared to the last 2 games I played, I actually played this game on historical to spice up the things, spice it up. So, because I actually had gone fascist as Latvia and Estonia, I decided to go this game monarchist and restore the good old Commonwealth. For that I had to exile a guy, or otherwise he and his organization, the Iron Wolf or something like that, was going to create a civil war, so to exile you go, my dude. After exiling him, I was able to bring back the king and coronate him as Mindaugas, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I probably butchered it. But having a president and a king doesn't really work, so why not give full power to the king and demote the president to a prime minister, And with the king as the rightful ruler of this kingdom, it was only natural to unify the Baltics and turn into Livonia. I turned into Livonia, which I have to say has a really nice color and a flag, and I got my war goals on both Latvia and Estonia. I managed to catch the Latvians off guard and killed a few troops in an encirclement, as well as taking Riga. Meanwhile, while I was invading the rest of the Baltic countries, which was basically just Estonia, I was also doing some decisions to get Poland under a personal union. So, with Latvia gone, it was Estonia's turn to get annexed. And if Latvia was easy to take down this game actually, Estonia was just a joke, since they had a civil war and lost half of their troops, so I just blitzed through the country. And even more good news came as the Soviets had a civil war, so that meant that they would be distracted for a while at least, as they had to defeat the revolt and get on the rebuilding the whole rotten structure. After clicking some decisions, I was finally able to make Poland a personal union, but they were still in a civil war, so I just had to wait until one side won. Luckily, that soon would happen. After a mere 70 days of Poland being a republic, they would be turned into a kingdom once again. Imagine just revolting to create a republic only for Lithuania to claim the throne and turn your republic into a personal union. Yikes. So with Poland under a personal union, it was time to form the Commonwealth once more, but now under Lithuanian authority. Forming the Commonwealth got me some extra cores, so that was nice, but now it was time to build up for the eventual war with the Germans. And as expected, the Germans demanded my mail, and although I could have resisted, because I had a similar industry, they still had a better army overall, so I had no choice but to accept.
Much later.
But later, my opportunity to snatch my mail and the other corps presented itself when Germany decided to go Schriften Part 2 and declare war on the Allies, and the French, since they actually made their own alliance. So I saw this opportunity and started justifying on Memel or Königsberg, I don't remember on which state I actually justified. And so after 60 days waiting, I went for my revenge. Considering everything, Germany was much weaker than I actually expected, but I guess that's what happens when you get a two-front war with everyone and their mother. I quickly took over Eastern Prussia and was now marching towards Berlin, which later would fall as the Germans went off to the Western Front or something like that, since there were not a lot of troops in my border. And so, with Berlin in mind, the third achievement was now completed. Now I just had to conquer the entire Baltic shoreline, so for that, Germany had to go. And funny enough, they did a focus to restore Austria-Hungary to get a new ally, but since Czechoslovakia was at war with Germany before, when Austria-Hungary formed, it actually declared war on Germany. Ouch, Germany, that must hurt. Another thing that happened in this game was that Siam actually formed a formable nation, which is actually kind of strange since I've never seen the AI do that before, so it was actually kind of cool. Although I do know that that specifically formable is not too hard to do, but hey, considering it's the AI, it was better than nothing. Germany would fall, and after having a short trip to Italy, they and the entire Central Powers collapsed, so in the peace deal I took everything to make the real-life borders, while I just puppeted the rest of Germany. Also, I just decided to take Sardinia because, why not? Now with the west secured, it was now time to go to the east and teach those Russians a good lesson. At this point, my industry was big enough that I could just watch the frontline order go even further east. So, when you actually reach that point in the game, especially when invading Russia, it feels so good that you actually can take a break while the Red Army just collapses. After encircling some troops down in Ukraine and being outside the gates of Moscow, I decided to muscle assault everything as it was actually getting boring after this point, so to avoid the boredom in the video, you know what time it is. Yep, it's casualties and montage time. And so Russia surrendered. I decided to basically dismantle the whole thing and took Western Russia for myself. And would you look at that? Look at who is in Moscow again. After that, this was where the madness actually begins. I still had to take over basically all of Scandinavia and annex Germany for the achievement, so I had to fight France for Finland first. While I actually capitulated Romania and Bulgaria, I noticed that France had nothing on its borders, so I just used the German troops that were being built by Germany and just used them to capitulate France, and it was as easy as that. As Japan was also at war with France, you can imagine how bad the peace deal was. But I only cared for Finland and took the rest of France as a puppet. But now this is where things would actually get interesting, as of course the UK wants to have World War III over f***ing Karelia, so that meant infinite war with the Allies. As Japan was also at war with the UK and the Allies, they invited me into their faction. Worst mistake of my entire life. I'm telling you, the worst mistake I've ever done. Since I was now at war with the Allies, I capitulated the Benelux for the third time in this video, took Denmark, declared war on Sweden. I was also fighting in Finland, Austria and later Italy after Austria surrendered. I also fought in Yugoslavia. And just when Sweden surrendered and I thought I had gotten the achievement, well, guess what, motherfucker? Japan, out of nowhere, took a state in Denmark. I did not transfer the occupation to them, or was I ever told that that happened. It was just out of the blue. And because they refused to give it back, even though I had more war participation than them, I had to give Japan Italy, Austria-Hungary, Yugoslavia, and the whole Benelux, just so Japan would give me back that one state in Denmark. At this point, I just decided to stop recording, and when I got the achievement, since I was not recording, I can only show you that, well, it was now completed. And with that, I finished the 4 achievements related to the Baltics. The last one was such a pain, but I got it, and that's all that matters. And so, this is actually the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I will be covering more of the new DLC, No Step Back, and I actually will be also covering the new achievements, most likely on live stream, because, well, it's actually easier that way. But also I will be still uploading some regular campaigns, as I still have some pre-recorded gameplay before the update. So that's all for today. You are dismissed, soldier.